My name is Arvind Kala and I live in Delhi. Caste is synonymous with India, but do you know that Japan has its own brand of untouchables? They're Buraku people. There's some 1 million of them. And even today, a Japanese with Buraku forefathers is tainted by his ancestry. Such is life. But let's forget Japan and focus on India. In India itself, the caste produces an unholy mess which is impossible to, with layers of complexities which are impossible to unravel. Now let's take Punjab and Haryana. Punjab has Sikh Jats and Haryana has Hindu Jats. They're racially absolutely identical, absolutely alike. But Sikh Jats in Punjab are high caste and Hindu Jats in Haryana are backward caste, OBCs, which means they get preferences in government jobs and university admissions. So one state, the Indian state, treating two identical people in a different way, it's just crazy. Now they're Hindu Dalits and they're Sikh Dalits and 15% of government jobs are reserved for them. Okay, good. But the Christian Dalits and the Muslim Dalits don't get those reservations. Same people, different treatment. So it's really crazy. And now, let me give you my example. I'm a Brahmin. My daughter doesn't get preferences in jobs. But if she has, but her children will if she marries an OBC or a Harijan. So it's crazy. Brahmin mom producing OBC daughter, OBC mom producing Brahmin daughter, etc., etc. It's just a mess. And let me tell you one thing. There's the conventional wisdom in India is that these OBCs, other backward castes, are 52% of the population. And what do we base it on? We base it on a 90-year-old caste census done by the British in 1931. Jesus Christ, that's too far back. And how do we know if the British bungled that census, etc., etc.? 1 century later, we are going by their figures? It's absolutely crazy. And so I'm actually dead against this revival of this Yadavs that India should have another caste-based census. But more about that a little later. Now, the Hindu caste system overpowers every religion, every social group in India. Now, Sikhs are supposed to be casteless and classless. But do you know that a Punjab village can have 3 gurdwaras, one for the landed Sikhs, the Jats, one for the Ramgarhias and one for the Mazhbis? Now, I remember, let's take Christianity for instance. I remember when I was at St. Stephen's College, we had a classmate called Nishikant Mukherjee, and he would say he was a Brahmin Christian. And I used to wonder why is he saying that? Yeah, if he's a Christian, he belongs to no caste. But now I can understand why, because he wanted to emphasize his Brahmin heritage. Because most Christians in North India were from the lesser caste who became Christians and became Muslims also earlier to escape the oppression of the Hindu caste system. So he wanted to tell us or everybody in college, hey, that I'm not a new Christian. I'm a Brahmin. So it's the same thing with Kerala Christians or Goan Christians or Pondicherry Christians. They've been Christians for a long time in Kerala for 2,000 years. So they want to differentiate themselves. They call themselves Brahmin Christians because they want to differentiate themselves from the later converts. So that is how you look at Islam. Islam as Ashraf Muslims, the Brahmins and the upper caste Muslims who trace their ancestry from Afghanistan and Central Asia. Then there are the middle OBC Muslims called Ajlaf, and the right this is Azlal or something like that, with caste names like Hajam, which means barber, or Kasai, which means butcher, or Darji, tailor, or Mehtar, sweeper. So the caste system just overpowers every caste system in India. And this is, it's crazy. So right now, what happened was that for 30 years after independence, there were 22% reservation and nobody really minded. 15% for Dalits and 7% for... But when VP Singh came this 11th month, wonder, he was Prime Minister only for 11 months, but he opened a can of worms. He raised the job reservations to 50%, and after that, that's all they've been. So India has been, India's population since 1990, has grown by 540 million. The number of government jobs have remained the same. But there are now more and more people fighting for less and less. Let's not forget one thing, that employment comes from the private sector. 90% of the employment in India, formal employment, good jobs, whatever, come from the private sector. Government jobs are only 8 or 9% of the job market. But there are more and more people fighting for less and less. So it's a sad situation, and it's a real third world mindset we have. And we should let the genie remain in the bottle. This is impossible. Don't fix something which isn't broken. Take it easy. There's enough chaos. Once the caste census comes, if it does at all, it'll, instead of focusing on productivity, etc., education, health, etc., we'll be fighting more and more. So let's forget this. This is a third world mindset. Okay, folks, I talk a lot of sense, so please, there's a red button below. Please subscribe, send this to others. Okay, so I'll bid you goodbye. See you later, alligator.